Hey guys, what's good? And welcome to the Cosign Life. If you're watching this video, that means you co-sign us and we co-sign you. So here are a couple of ways to support us at Cosign Magazine. Number one, view the description below, click the link, and purchase an issue of Cosign Magazine. Just like this one right here, physical. You can purchase this. Number two, you can also support us by purchasing Cosign merch. Hit the link below and it'll take you to all our past merch items, and we'd love to have your support and see you wear Cosign Magazine. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Cosign Conversations. Today we have a very special guest all the way from Cali, came to Dallas for an amazing event that we just happen to be a part of. We have the founder and CEO of Black Vines, Miss Fern Stroud. How you doing today?
What's up? I'm good. I'm golden. Thank you for having me. This is amazing.
Of course, man. I'm looking forward to this because we're going to talk about your history. But then you actually put me on this wine gang because I'm tired of going to wine events and friends gatherings and they talk about my selection choices. Well, you heard that story offline, so I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to repeat it.
But, we got you though.
We're going to get taken care of today. Not only am I going to get taken care of, but we're going to entertain the audience and let them know what they need to be doing and why they should be storing Black Vines. It's definitely beneficial, but we'll get all into that. So, before we get started.
Yes, sir.
It's originally from Cali.
Yes, right? Born and raised.
Born and raised. Oakland, you said?
Berkeley, California.
Berkeley, California.
I'm a Berkeley kid. I live in Oakland now, but you know, they know what's up. It's B-Town all the way,
that's what's up. So what was like life growing up in Berkeley, California?
Berkeley is a very interesting place. It's like a melting pot.
Okay.
You get a lot of different influences. Gotcha. And because there's just one high school, it's like you spread out through elementary school, junior high,
right.
And then you come back to high school where there's just one high school with like 3,000 kids.
Dang.
So there's literally people that I've known for 30 years.
Wow.
That we still keep in touch. And so it's a community.
Right.
And that's what really kind of raised me in this whole vein of building community, because I come from communities. So growing up in the Bay, you got a lot of different influences, very independent, very cultured.
Okay.
And it forces you to kind of look at things from different perspectives, because you're exposed to many different perspectives at a very early age. So
that's what's up. So we know what you do now, but before Black Vine was established 10 years ago, what was your life like? What were you into?
Wow. I've had a few different lives.
I feel you. I feel like I lived a couple lives too myself.
Hey, yo, for real. So I had the music game life, where I was like managing producers and stuff. Called myself a rapper for a little bit.
I feel like if you haven't rapped once in your life, what you doing?
Man, everybody was a rapper at some point.
Yeah.
And then I moved. The whole time I was in tech.
Okay.
So I recently retired from tech after, I got laid off, and then I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm not going back to no corporate gig.
I feel you.
So I've been retired for about a year, fully invested in Black Vines.
Oh, nice.
But in between, like those 20 years, I started doing internships at Cal, Berkeley, over the summers during high school in their computer departments.
Okay.
I started developing, like doing coding and stuff when I was like junior high school.
So you was on it early.
Yeah, super early. And then got my degree in computer information systems.
Okay.
So I did my last internship at NASA, and then I went into tech at AT&T. They had a management exchange program for college hires. So I went into that. I was at AT&T for 14 years doing internal contracting.
Nice.
Infrastructure, data management, project management stuff.
Yeah.
So tech is like...
So tech is your life for real.
Tech is like second nature. Like that thing is much like wine.
Got you.
Try to make tech less intimidating, because it's literally just zeros and ones.
Really?
It's very, very, very basic.
Okay.
It's always the professionals in industries that are intimidating that make it more pretentious.
That overcomplicated.
Yeah, always. Yeah. But that's how you make your money.
Right.
Like if I can make something sound more complicated than what it is, and I can charge you more to get into it, which is complete bullshit.
Right.
Like none of that matters. It either is or it ain't.
Right.
And so we brought that same vibe to wine, and wanted to expose Black people to an experience that wasn't pretentious.
Nah, for sure, and it's much needed out here because I think a lot of times, even as like Black people growing up, we look at wine and wine events as something that's luxurious, but it's like, man, it doesn't seem like it's for us, all right? So it's like you go to these settings or you look at these settings and you feel like you'd be uncomfortable attending, so you just don't go.
Yep.
You just don't go.
Yep.
So what made you actually create this community? Like, what was the aha moment when you were like, you know what, I need to create this community, I need to create this platform, and I'm going to call it Black Vines? Like, walk me through that process.
Wow. So the naming of it is a whole nother story.
Let's talk about that too.
So this is like 11, 12 years ago.
Okay.
I had this idea of we wanted to bring something culturally relevant to a Black History Month celebration.
Okay.
And just kind of wrecking our brains, like, what could we do? And Oakland is literally 30, 40 minutes from wine country. So the most famous wine country in the United States, Napa Valley, is down the street.
Oh, nice.
Going to Napa Valley, you can have amazing experiences or not so amazing experiences, depending on a lot of
Have you had both?
I've had both.
Okay.
I've had both. I've walked into tasting rooms and, have been looked at like you don't know shit.
Right.
But you want some sweet wine?
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Yeah. They're talking to me.
But it's like you gotta respect everybody that comes into a space.
Nah, for sure, exactly.
And so we wanted to create an event that celebrated Black history while focusing on Black future.
Okay.
And the future of wine, the future of arts, the future of music, the future of culinary arts.
Okay.
And so we created this event to celebrate Black future. And we pay homage to those before us, but we're really cheersing to those that are making waves in other areas.
Gotcha.
And during the planning process, we started delving into, like, how many Black-owned wineries are there? And at the time, we ran into about 10.
Okay.
We directly connected with the Association of African American Vintners.
Okay.
And they've been super supportive. AAAV have been like family. They are family.
Gotcha.
And we created this event. 10 years later, we're here. And we wanted to be hella intentional about the name. So we were literally on a round table and we were kicking around ideas. And I was adamant on, it gotta say Black.
Gotta say Black.
We don't want no urban, we don't want nothing to give a hint. We want to be intentional about what it is, because we're celebrating these Black folks in wine.
Definitely.
And 10 years later, there are 80 plus Black, almost probably 100 Black-owned labels. Back then, maybe 20, 30, maybe. Actually, it wasn't even 20, 30. It was about 10, 15.
About 10, okay.
So to see the industry just grow over the years and appreciation to grow and palates to become more refined over the years, it's a beautiful thing. So we're blessed to be in this space.
That's what's up.
Blessed to make the connections that we've made, and honored to be in spaces with you like this.
No, most definitely
so
appreciate it. So what we're going to do is break it down too, because some may know, but some may not know. So earlier you spoke on vintners. What actually is a vintner?
A vintner is, so it's a little bit of a difference. Vintners are folks who actually create wines. They create wines from vines. Like they're vintners. They do the whole gamut of it.
The whole process.
You have like winemakers who focus on the actual winemaking process.
Gotcha.
So, we toast to the Black wineries and vintners because we have both in our space.
Gotcha.
And it's just those are the people behind the wine.
Gotcha.
And often less pretentious than anyone else touching the vines.
Most definitely. So you work with a lot of people who end up owning their own labels, such as like a Share Me Wine, right?
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. From your experience of working with everybody and being in the industry, how difficult is it to actually launch your own label? And what's that process like?
That is so crazy that you asked me that, because the questions that I'm getting now are specifically around that. And so I literally just said, I want to say yesterday, yesterday, I told a friend of mine, like, we're going to have to create a process around how to start your wine label.
You should.
Because it's not as hard as one may think.
Right.
Depending on the avenue that you go.
Okay.
So there's a few different avenues you can go.
Okay.
You can do your private label, where you do like a custom crush. And a custom crush is where you don't own a wine facility, but you pay for the grapes. You source grapes from different areas, and then you do the whole winemaking process.
Okay.
So you use a custom crush facility that would then press your grapes and then store your grapes and help blend your grapes, and then you have a hand in the process.
Okay.
You can also buy like bulk juice. So that's wine that's already produced.
Gotcha.
And then you can bottle it and then slap your label on it.
Okay. It's like clothes.
Yeah.
You buy a bulk of Hanes t-shirts or Gildan, just throw your logo on it.
And then you have the other process where you're actually making making your clothes. So it's like you own the vineyards, you're growing the grapes, you're overseeing the whole process from grape through fermentation, through bottling, through barreling, through the whole nine. And so each one of those tiers is a different cost.
For sure.
Of course, owning a vineyard is gonna be like multi-millions versus getting you a couple of, like a ton of juice, and then like literally 1 ton of juice, and then bottling it. That's a different price point. But all are accessible, and nothing is impossible.
Exactly.
There's so many people, especially in the wine game, like the actual farmers and the folks that own vineyards, who are so ready and willing to show someone how to do it. Right. It's just like, are you willing to put in the work?
Exactly.
Are you willing to
and put yourself out there?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like I won't even get into my whole philosophy about putting things out. Once you put it out, it's yours. I mean, it's no longer yours. It's for the people.
Gotcha.
Whether they accept it or not, that's not on you. It don't matter.
Gotcha.
You know, you just give it with love, and what comes back is what comes back. But it don't stop you from giving.
Sure.
You gotta keep giving.
So while we have this share everyone, we're gonna
let's do it,
pour
baby.
Up a little bit. Mind y'all, I'm not. I'm just KG. You know, say I'm learning out here, but I don't know how to hold the bottle right. We just gonna pour up.
You holding the bottle perfectly.
We just gonna pour right. Usually they're like this or so. I don't know.
Man,
We just gonna
you
pour
ain't no sommelier, man. You just pour that thing like you want to pour it.
I do a little heavy pour because you know.
Hey, it's good.
If y'all know me, y'all know me.
We heavy pouring, and we gonna cheers.
And, we gonna cheers and all that.
We gonna talk about COSIGN as well.
Oh yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
And this is a Cherami, Texas grown. I'm not even finna try to pronounce that great.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna jack it.
Okay, she came. It's a Montepulciano.
Oh, look at
That's
you.
what it is. A Montepulciano.
I always jack that.
A rosé, and So walk me through the whole.
The process?
Yeah, the process.
Let's cheers first, and then I'll take you to the process.
Yeah, let's do it. We're going to do this official, the right way.
Hey, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, okay. So hold it from the bottom.
One of the first things. So when you hold a wine at the brim or whatever, the cup or whatever it's called, your hands warm it up. So it changes the flavor of the wine when you hold it versus not. Sometimes you want to warm it up.
Okay. It
depends. It depends on what you like.
I like my chilled.
But one of the first things you do is kind of look at the wine.
Okay.
It's the sight. And this is something that I'm learning. You know, I'm actually getting some private lessons from some good homies of mine, showing me kind of like how to look at wine. And there's a lot of different things. You look at the color.
Okay.
You look at, they call them the legs, but shit, it's the viscosity of the wine.
Okay, yeah.
And that lets you know, like, once you dip it and it comes back, how the legs kind of form on the wine.
Okay.
You look for bubbles in the wine, the clarity of the wine. Bubbles let you know if it's like been in stainless steel or if it's been in barrels.
Okay.
So that's your sight.
Gotcha. See a little bit in there. Okay.
Okay. And then you do your smell. Okay. So when you smell your wine, there are first you like smell for flaws.
Okay.
And I'm still learning the flaws part. It's like if something is like very, if it stands out, then it could be a flaw. Sometimes I just learned My barnyard, I love barnyard on the red, and that's considered a flaw.
Okay.
But you know, your nose will tell you a lot about the wine, but your nose is based on your experience.
Exactly. So I would say, if you don't know, you don't know.
Exactly. So if you ain't never smelled a dirty peach from the ground, you know, that's been stepped on 2 times, then you ain't gonna smell dirty peach on the ground that's been stepped on 2 times.
You wouldn't know, right?
Yep. So, but we, you smell for fruit, non-fruit. So like your fruits are like stone fruit, citrus, black fruit, red fruit, orchard fruits. So different fruits that the way that they grow.
Right.
And then you do non-fruits, so that's like earth tones. You smell like some wines are very consistent with like limestone and minerality. Right. And again, it depends. If you ain't been on the ocean, you ain't gonna smell ocean rock on the damn wine.
Exactly.
And then you have like some very specific tones that'll let you know if it's been in a barrel or not. So that's like like your heavy sugars, your maple, your just little things. So you kind of smell the wine, and you want to call out like what fruits you may smell, and the fruits that you smell may not be what other people smell. Because again, it's based on your experience.
But usually what the bottles will tell you, right?
Sometimes, but not all bottles give you full tasting notes.
Gotcha. Because I remember we went to Moore in Dallas, another friend of ours. He did a couple wine nights at his house, and we would do the process, and then we would try to find out what's actually in the wine. Some of them had it on the bottle, but then some of we had to look up and give us the wine note. So that's something new I've been learning, but wanted to share because, you know, coming from where I'm from, a lot of people don't know all this information. And our audience, you know, it varies. So some are well versed, some are, you know, amateurs, beginners like myself. So, but they enjoy new experiences.
We all beginners, because the world of wine. The thing about it is, I don't think I know anyone who's tasted every varietal out there. If you have, you're full of shit. And then it's like every varietal, depending on where it's grown, has a different expression. So it's like a terroir. So your terroir is like everything associated with the environment that created the grape. That's your soil. That's your sun exposure. That's the temperature change from day to night. That's the water. That's the, are you biodegradable? Are you adding sulfites? Like all of that stuff is a part of, goes into your bottle. So wine is really an art. So you could have a Merlot or whatever the hell this grape is called, and it tastes completely different based on all of those different elements.
Gotcha.
So yeah, wine is an experience, and it's just like everybody's a beginner.
For sure.
Everybody's a beginner. We want to always make it unpretentious and approachable.
Yeah, you're right. You hear that more? Y'all laughing at me at the wine tasting.
Yeah, don't be laughing at KG.
It's all good, man.
He's good with it. So then, like, after your smell, so I smell like, ooh, it's nice little red fruit, ripe red fruits and stuff like that. Ooh, a little cherry hint. And then you can get real deep with it, and we ain't even do all that ridiculous shit. The next thing you want to do, what all the winemakers tell me, like the real ones that do it, they be like, taste that shit and say if you like it or not.
Basically.
If you like it, then it's your kind of wine.
It's your kind of wine.
So,
It's a good rosé.
The other thing is when you taste it, you kind of confirm what you smell. Sometimes what you smell in your nose isn't what you taste.
What you taste, yeah.
And then you can test like acidity, the alcohol, how strong it is. And that's a little thing where you like suck it in a little bit. You like take it in and just kind of, you like hold it between and just like suck. The burn on the back of your throat will let you know. And I'm gonna get the burn on the back of your throat will let you know how much alcohol is in it.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, do it with some tequila, and then you'll learn the difference between wine and spirits.
Okay, man, I'm a tequila drinker too. So I'm about to try that.
Yeah, I did it with some cognac. I was like, why did I do that?
It was on fire, huh?
I was on fire. So after you taste it, you kind of confirm what you got, and then you can kind of make your call on, like when you're blind tasting, you use all of those elements to kind of narrow down what the wine may be.
Gotcha.
But when you're just tasting the taste, you narrow that shit down and see, is this something that I would like? Is it something that I would eat? Foods that I like with.
Gotcha.
That's all.
So out of 10 years of in your company, what's been some of your biggest accomplishments or some moments that you're proud of Black Vines? Because 10 years, Cosign is going on 10 years this year, so it's been up and it's been down. It's been a roller coaster. So I'm eager to know what are some highlights as in your career as an entrepreneur with your company, Black Vines.
The highlights are having experiences like this with people like you. That's what makes this so beautiful. We're able to create community
for sure
in all that we do, and being able to reach people, being able to expose these Black wineries that we work with, because we've partnered with over, I want to say 37 different Black-owned wineries over the last 10 years, and we've seen so many people grow and their wines being appreciated, and we knew them way back when they were, just kind of getting started and doing things. So the biggest accomplishment is the community that we've been able to build, the relationships that we've been able to build, and to see people really grow. Because the wine, this whole thing there's a much bigger picture,
right?
And that's doing our part to help create, maintain, and have some sustainability in a Black economic ecosystem, where we can share resources and patronize one another. And the only way that you're able to do that is to be exposed and know that folks are out there with the products that you want, the products and the services that you want and need.
Right.
So then you can go support them.
Definitely.
So that's what we're all about. I'm sure, I see you with Cosign, and you said 10 years in almost, you got to tell me your story, because we haven't really had the opportunity to connect, and I'm very curious about what you've been doing, because having anything for 10 years ain't easy.
You already know, man. It's a crazy story, but just kind of break it down. So like I told you offline, my parents were originally from the country of Panama, Central America. They moved to Brooklyn. Dad was in the Army. So that's how I ended up getting to Texas, Cali. It's Fort Hood. It's a military base out there, right? So when I graduated, I moved to Dallas. I was going to school. I had a daughter at a young age. I was 19.
Wow.
Trying to figure out my next move. Much love to my mom. She sat me down. She was like, I'm gonna step in and help you and your girlfriend raise this kid, because y'all are kids. I don't want y'all not to go to school. I don't want y'all not to live a life, so I'm gonna help. So she stepped in and helped so that I could continue to gain, the knowledge from school, the life experiences of working overseas. So at 20, I went overseas to Afghanistan for 2 years.
Wow.
As a military contractor, I was an engineer technician working overseas, and I used that time to really figure out what I wanted to do in life. And I quickly realized I'm not meant to work for somebody. I'm working 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. I can only come home every 4 to 5 months. Wow. Then I would come home, be home for 10 days. It takes my daughter 5 days to get comfortable with me again. And then I leave in 5 days, and then it starts the process all over again. So I was like, man, I have to man up and do these sacrifices, because I'm like, man, my mom was paying for the milk, everything. I'm like, man, that's not a man. I'm a kid. As a man, I chose to lay up and have this kid, so I got a responsibility. So when I came back, I already had, prior to now, I was working with a different magazine called Ozone, which was a hip hop magazine.
I know Ozone.
Yeah, hip hop magazine. But I was like, man, there's way more stories that need to be told than just artists. Granted, I love artists, I love music, but I'm like, man, what about the photographer? What about the manager, the publicist, the executive at the label? Why can't we talk to them? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'm gonna start my own magazine, because I didn't want to work for anybody anymore. So when I was looking for the name, I had a little bread saved up. My older sister was like, man, KG, can you co-sign on the car for me so I can get this car? And I was like, man, Z, I love you, but I can't co-sign the car for you. And it hit me right then and there, like the power of a co-sign, right? Like me signing on that would allow her to basically use my information to get her what she wanted, right? And if you think about business, it's all co-signs. It's all word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? Jeremy told me about you, which was a cosign, and now we're here, right? If I tell somebody about Jeremy's wine and they buy it, that's a cosign. So everything is word of mouth. Everything's a cosign. So I'm like, if my platform could be that for small businesses, entrepreneurs, creators, executives, just to like take them out of that area to where people see you, but they're not on that support level yet. But once they see a reputable publication behind it, they want to support. And that's all it is. Basically highlighting and supporting entrepreneurs of color, minorities, telling their stories so that others can, support, follow suit, or learn their blueprint so they can take that leap of faith and become entrepreneurs.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that.
Thank you.
So yeah, we changing the name. Black Vines is co-signing black people.
So that's what we doing, man. That's what we doing.
Is.
I mean, essentially what you're doing as well is, co-signing these black winemakers, these black establishments, these black wines, and letting your community know, like, this is some brands or people we need to get behind and build and support a community out of. So essentially, the world it revolves around different cosigns.
I couldn't agree more.
Yes.
I couldn't agree more. That's what people say about you when you're not in the room is what really matters.
So with that, I had a great question. I want to know, who was your first co-signing industry, right? Like, who was like the first winemaker or vintner that was like, man, I see what you're doing. I want to help support this.
Wow. I could say truly and honestly, there were two main, well, there's a lot of people who helped make this what it is. My sister stepped in and was like, whatever you doing, we rocking with you.
Sure.
My sister Precious, she just kind of rolled with it. And my whole family's been supportive since day one. But from a winemaking perspective, Lou Garcia from Stover Oaks Winery and was one of the main members of the AAAV since year one.
Yeah.
He has been rock solid.
That's what's up.
Like, out the gate.
That's what's
super supportive. And then Jeffrey Pete is a business owner out in Oakland. One of the most established black businesses in Oakland, Jeffrey's Inner Circle. And the first Black Vines event, he pulled me aside and was like, whenever you need me, you just give me a holler and you let me know.
And it remained solid the whole time.
Oh man, that's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he stayed committed to that. And we actually did a couple of events as we grew. We needed a bigger space. He had a space available for us to be able to do what we do. But there's several stories like that as the years continued on. A lot of our winemakers have been super supportive.
Gotcha.
The McBride sisters, as of late, have been crazy supportive of what we do with Black Vines. And we actually were a recipient of their 2020 She Can Thrive grant. Oh, nice. Which, in the time of COVID, transitioned into this full-time gig, we did our ninth year anniversary celebration, the February 29th of 2020. A month later, the world was completely shut down.
It's a wrap.
And we're like, wait, we got a 10-year anniversary about to plan for. It was like, how are we going to make this thing happen? Exactly. So we've just had support over the years. Like, I could go through the whole list. P. Harrell, Paula, we have Theopolis Vineyards with Theo. We have Vision Cellars, Mac McDonald. We have Chef Rhonda, the Chef of Wine Arts. Venus Simpatica, which is Sherajan, Share Me, A.T., Indigenous Cellars.
Get a lot of support.
Ray Smith, Wachira Wines, Chad and Chris. PJS Consultants, which is our marketing arm, which is my sister. She kind of branched off and started doing her own thing. So they do all of our marketing and development stuff. I know I'm missing. Mason War, Andre Mack, who does his thing. I'm just thinking through the whole list now. Like, there's so many.
There's a lot of solid people.
I mean,
that help make this.
so many solid people. Phil Long, Longevity Wines, who's the president of AAAV now.
Okay.
Man, I know somebody's gonna be like, Fern, you didn't even say me. Free Range Flower Wines, which is Aaliyah and Sam. Fall Crest Vineyards, J Moss.
It's amazing that you can remember. I would have stopped there like 400 of it, like, man.
Yeah, J Moss, Corner 103,
Okay.
Lloyd Davis, huge supporter, just like so rock solid. Base No Sangria.
Okay.
That was the sangria that I was pouring
Okay,
at the
yeah,
event.
I remember.
AT, super dope.
Yeah, it's really good.
Gosh.
That was really good.
Yeah, like, this shit is amazing.
That was really good. So let me ask you this though. So COVID hits, and you know, a lot of time people have to pivot. You know, you're a full-time entrepreneur now. Kind of tell us, you know, for those looking and kind of want to support or actually kind of want to follow your blueprint, like what's your business model? I know you have the events and memberships as well, right?
Yeah, we have a membership.
Okay.
And
And tell us what those includes and all
yeah,
that.
I'm gonna jump into that for sure. But the business model, the one thing about it is, I'm in this entrepreneur class now, taught by one of my mentors. Actually, I guess I could call them two of my mentors now. Super dope Black brothers that are really trying to make an impact.
Right.
And so these classes have really kind of expanded the way that I look at the entrepreneurial journey.
Right.
And so the business model literally has to cater to what the need of our clientele is.
Right.
So as COVID hits, right before COVID hit, we had already planned on launching this membership model.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like a Costco or like a Sam's Club,
Okay.
where you pay a subscription to have access,
Okay.
but that access gives you 50% off of any events that we do.
Oh, nice.
It gives you percentage off of any of our merch, like our Celebrating Black Future stuff.
Gotcha.
The glasses, our signature glasses, but also we have 23 or 24 wine partners now. So all of those Black-owned vineyards, you get anywhere from 10 to 25% off of their wine.
Gotcha.
And so it's like, if you're spending $30 to $50 a month on wine, you might really want to get with this, because we're talking award-winning wine, internationally recognized winemakers under our realm, and we have the top Black-owned wines in the country.
Nice.
Under our umbrella.
And providing a discount as members.
Providing a discount as members and then
amazing.
giving you different kind of access.
Okay.
So like you could literally say, oh, I got a question for this winemaker. You shoot it through us, we'll get you an answer.
Oh, nice.
Like we have that access. This is not on no punk ass, bougie ass, oh, we have the access. No, we have the access for y'all.
Right, for sure.
We do it for the people.
For sure.
We're trying to make this a community and not just a onesie twosie.
Gotcha.
I'm better than you, toot your nose up type thing.
Right.
This is like luxury, but unpretentious.
For sure.
So you come as you are, you have a great experience, you get your exposure, and then you can have the full gamut. Like we have the full range of wine types.
Okay.
So any kind of palate, we can provide an experience for.
Yeah.
For sure. So,
That's amazing. Speaking of palates, I know we do get that stigma of liking Black people of liking a sweet wine. But kind of talk to us about opening that palate up, because I know originally I didn't like dry wine, but now I'm being introduced to wines that kind of are becoming, for me, you know, enjoyable that are dry. But you know, at first it was just like, nah, I need it sweet. You know
see, so you asked me how to do it, but KG, tell him your journey. Tell him how you did it.
Man, well, first off, I just had to be open-minded. Just had to be open-minded to try new things, you know. I think somebody, I'm a picky eater, so what it was I remember somebody told me, I ordered a meal, and I was like, no mushrooms. And she was like, hey, you ever had mushrooms before? I was like, nah, I just don't like it. She was like, how you know if you don't like it? You never tried it? I just don't like it. So I tried it. Great, I didn't like it, but I tried it.
You tried it, yep.
You know what I'm saying? I tried it. So I was like, okay, I like sweet wine because I'm used to, like, you know, drinking sweet juices or even liquor, like cocktails are made sweet. So I was like, man, let me really try. And then connecting with people, like more in Dallas is his wine night, connecting with Jeremy, connecting with you. These people introduced me to new wines and told me more about it. So now I was more knowledgeable about it, and I was open-minded to try the experiences. And they also gave me like small steps. Okay, like this one isn't as dry. It still has a little, a little sweetness to it. So it like you slowly get. It doesn't happen overnight. It's like you can't go cold turkey. Like, just like working out, but slowly and gradually, I got there and tried new things, which opened up my palate. So, from my experience, I would say, just be open-minded.
You gave the blueprint. That's it. It's being open-minded, taking little steps.
Okay, little steps for sure.
You don't have to like everything. Guess what? There's hella wine out there.
Right.
Sorry, y'all. It's a California word, hella.
We say hella too in Texas.
Okay. There's hella wine out there. So you're not gonna like every wine.
Right.
I don't like every wine.
Okay.
But I'm gonna taste every wine.
Gotcha.
Because if you don't know, then you don't know.
Right. What's your go-to?
Huh?
What's your go-to wine?
As I'm learning more, I don't even have a go-to.
Oh, okay.
I realize my favorite varietal, depending on where it's grown and how it's made, might not even be my favorite. So, and then varietals that I would shy away from, a different winemaker from a different region, even old world versus new world. Old world is like France, or, like other regions, Italy or something, versus new world, which is like New Zealand or California. Their expressions on your varieties. So like a Chardonnay grape grown in France versus a Chardonnay grape grown in California, depending on the region, it could have a totally different expression. Depending on if it's all stainless steel or if it's a little oak.
Gotcha.
It all has a different expression. So, you just got to be open, taste as much as you want, go to as many wine tastings as you can.
True.
And just be okay and realize, like, the people who are tooting their noses up, those aren't the people behind the wine.
Right. Yeah.
The people behind the wine are the ones that want you to taste their stuff.
Yeah, they're in it for the love, the art.
And that's been a huge part of what Black Vines does. It's like, we get you in front of the person behind the wine. So you can have that conversation.
Have that real experience.
You can hear the stories, like they co-signing for that bottle. You know what I'm saying? Because they know what was put into that.
Every bottle has a story.
Every bottle has a story.
I remember she told me about the story about the dove. I don't know if it's dove or a bird. The bird on the bottle. How that's I want to say a Jeremy bird or something like that. I can't remember the story, but I know she had a whole story for the labeling and all what it took. So it's like, man, it'd be interesting to hear exactly straight from the people that made it.
That's it. And that's what we do. We really are intentional about having the person behind the wine being able to tell the story.
Right.
And so, like, that's the beauty of it. Because it's all art. When you break it down,
sure.
It's just the art.
Gotcha.
And so each artist has their own ways of expressing their artistry.
Gotcha.
And we respect it all.
Definitely. And a couple more questions for you. We are in Texas, so I have to ask you this. How familiar are you with Texas wine?
I'm getting familiar. I'm getting very familiar. I'm just learning the region, understanding what grows well in the region, and then exposing myself to what Texans like. And that's a new experience. Because when you enter a new market, and thank you, Texas, for embracing us.
Right.
Like, that's huge. The love we got this past week, coming from out of town, it's very important to build community with the folks who are building community. Like that, that's what we're truly about. And to be embraced by that community, it was so heartwarming.
Right.
So I'm just learning like what the Texas folks want. And then how do I partner with folks like yourself?
Right.
Soiree, shout out to Be More. Right on, baby. Much love to you. Partnering with folks that can truly understand what the market wants. Right. And then figuring out how do we serve that. Because we're just a bridge. We're a service highway to provide what you need and who has what you need and put it together. So.
Gotcha. And something special came from that between you and Sherry. So I want you to tell the people what y'all created, what y'all put together.
Oh man, y'all,
next
it's
level.
us. It was it was a whole meeting of the minds that Jeremy put together. What was that? That was like March.
Yeah.
It was like March.
Yeah,
and it was the idea of having an all black wine list that then can be, the blueprint can be passed on to any restaurant or bar anywhere in this state that wants to highlight black owned brands. And it's like, hey, if you're a black restaurant, you're a black owned establishment, you can have access to an exclusive international black wine list. And Jeremy helped put that together. Chef Rhonda was instrumental in like sourcing some of the wines as well. And you know, it's endless.
Right.
Like the possibilities are endless, and the ability to reach is endless. So shout out to Jeremy. She really did her thing on that, put together a phenomenal group of people.
Gotcha.
I'm so appreciative for that.
So is this distribution only going to be for establishments, or is it something that you see maybe opening up and providing for everybody?
I mean, if anybody wants black-owned wines, you can go to Black Vines, and the DTC, which is direct to consumer channel, that channel is wide open.
Gotcha.
Like all of our wine partners can ship to Texas.
Okay.
And probably 42 other states for the most part. So you can get a nice variety of black-owned wines.
Okay.
So for the individuals, it's actually a little easier sometimes.
Texas, right.
But for the establishments as well,
to carry, it's a little different.
That direct-to-consumer line doesn't quite work with those retail spaces. So like restaurants and stores and stuff, it's a little bit different. And those tiered systems, you got to learn how to navigate. And that's why this was such a big thing, because we were able to figure out the distribution channels that needed to be tapped into to provide that ability to source those wines. So,
got you. Yeah. And to tie this all together, you celebrating 10 years, right?
Yes, indeed.
I want to know, where do you see Black Vines in the next 10?
Wow. Black Vines in the next 10 years is open. We want to build community. We want to see black millionaires in wine.
Love to see it.
As many black millionaires that can be, we want to see that happen in wine.
It's gonna be you for sure.
And not even for myself. Like,
for everybody,
we'll see if every black winemaker we work with could be a millionaire in the next 10 years. That's what we're shooting for.
Yeah.
Because the money comes and goes. But how we use that money to influence others and to make an impact, that's what really matters. And that's why the McBride sisters have been just so dope in that realm. Because it's not like get it all from me.
Right.
It's like get it and give.
Yeah, and give.
And when you give, it's just a totally different, it's a totally different vibration that you ignite. You know? So the next 10 years, we're just trying to fill as many spaces with love. We're trying to spread as much black excellence around this world that we can. Continue to co-sign as many folks as we can.
That's what we're doing.
And just spread this love, because that's what it's about.
Facts. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna toast to celebrating Black future.
Yes, indeed, baby.
Black future, Black excellence, Black Vines.
All that.
And before we get out of here, let them know the website where they can find you, social media. They got to tap in.
Tap in,
They got to tap in. Let them.
So I got a little thing right here.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave you a nice little sticker. Sticker with a little whoop wop. You know, we call it the little whoop wop. But you can reach us at blackvines.net. Blackvines with the S.net. IG, we're blackvines_. Facebook, I think we're Toast Black Vines.
Okay.
And just reach out to KG if you want to holler at me, because it's good. Like, We family now. What
we
these
locked
people
in.
don't know out in Texas is once you fuck with me, you ain't getting rid of me.
That's what's up. We locked in.
That's what it is.
You already know, and like we said, it's the Black excellence and celebrating Black future.
Absolutely.
Appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all can find all the information down low. And as always, continue to live the Cosign life.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. This
I
is
appreciate you, for sure.
Hey guys, what's good? Thanks for supporting Cosign Magazine by watching this video. If you really enjoyed this content, please subscribe, like, comment, and share.